Welcome to another episode of the Local Connection with the Givlin Gals. This episode, we have Marlow Marshall from Marlow Design, and he'll be telling us all about wearing our special moments. Let's jump into it.
Welcome to the Local Connection with the Givlin Gals, where we unravel the secrets of successful marketing with passion and purpose. I'm Jenn, your guide through the dynamic world of business strategies. So welcome back to the Local Connection with the Givlin Gals. Now I'm so super excited to have Marlo here. I mean, I have a guilty pleasure for enjoying having Marlo here because I'm a jewelry girl from way back when. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
We are so glad to have you. I think Victoria has a good question because otherwise I'm going to monopolize you. So Victoria.
Yeah, so you are the owner and operator of Marlow Design.
I certainly am, yes.
So where did that come from? Like, did you just wake up and go, I'm a jeweler? And that's
Actually, it's unique. I find, a lot of guys might think, guys in the jewelry industry, they often think like a legacy. It might be like my dad's dad or crawling down the line. But I actually came into the jewelry industry from more of from the retail side of the business. I've been in sales since I was about 13 years old. And I got into the jewelry industry around 2009 and I was brought into Calgary, opened up quite a few stores with them there and kind of came in through the more traditional jewelry side of it. So that classic ball, kind of walk in and pick out the piece. And just in that process, I just really fell in love with the custom side of the business. I had clients constantly coming in saying, I like that, but can I tweak that? Can I change that? And just really fell in love with that process and just like what jewelry actually means. And it means you're celebrating special emotions, you're celebrating special moments. And I just really wanted to dig deeper into that. And so I found that about in 2015, I found a program where I could kind of show off my custom pieces a little bit better. I like to joke I'm the only designer that can't draw. So I was able to create something that where I could bring the client's visions to life, and then I was off to the races. Yeah, I just decided to go off on my own. Didn't know it would grow into what it is today, but just thought I'd just be helping more independent clients here and there. But just grew in spite of that, and just decided to really focus on one-on-one with clients and just move forward from there.
It's super cool and very brave, Well, I don't see a lot of people doing this. I'm doing it.
It was curious. Yeah, I think I know definitely think entrepreneurship, bravery, but it just seemed like a natural transition. Like it didn't seem like it was something that I really had to put a lot of deep thought into and like, okay, I'm changing my whole life over. It just seemed a very natural transition. It just seemed like the right move.
Very cool. So a lot of us start out buying jewelry at the mall. You've talked about that experience.
Of course,
you walk in and you go, well, that's special to me, and then you find out later on it's not a unique piece to you.
Perhaps, yeah.
So there are a lot of situations where people are like, I thought I had the perfect piece for me, and now I don't. What type of hell do you find some of your customers go through, or challenges, and the results that you seem to have? I mean, I've seen your work. It is rather heavenly. So talk to me about that.
There's a divinity to it, for sure.
For sure. And I mean, it's interesting that you touch on that they have those pieces. Like everyone's got those collection of pieces. They got those gifts that were given and things that over time maybe your style isn't exactly what it used to be. So restyling was going to be a big part of our business that I felt important, not only to keep the story going, heirlooms, those type of pieces get passed down, but yeah, maybe the piece that you're just not quite feeling anymore, maybe it wasn't quite the right one. So we can unset the stones, reuse the material in that one as well. So still the time and the moments that you put into those pieces, those aren't lost, and in turn can go into new pieces as well. So it's, I guess the hell would be that you're feeling like you constantly have to buy new all the time, and the heaven would be in turn being able to refresh those and being able to be making wearable again.
That's super cool. And, back to the sustainability and the environmental purposes and things like that. Like, as you said, you change, you evolve, you grow, and things may not have a significance anymore. Like the ring I got in high school with the person I'm no longer with, but it's a gorgeous opal.
Yeah.
What can I do with it? So that's super cool. And can you explain a little bit? I know that you're unique in that you have your 3D rendering, and then you also have Kat who does the hand drawings. Can you explain a little bit about that?
For sure. So the 3D render, that's more of so we have a program that we can live change the piece in front of the client. We can make, add alterations, change stones, basically really try to bring their vision to life as best as possible. That program is a bit more part-based though, so it's almost like, I like to equivocate it to like jewelry Legos. You're basically attaching pieces together. But there's something to be said about that classic artistic hand sketch that, Kat, she's had lots of years of training and to put that time into really being able to create that very visually stunning piece in a way that like there's something about the integral artistry of the original sketch to move into the piece that I wanted to maintain as well there too. Especially when bringing her on board, I wanted to make sure that we had that element as well. So yeah, she can basically hand sketch it. I've even had her reverse engineer rings that I had. So I had a ring that I've created before. I'm like, can you reverse that into like a sketch format? And she's been able to do that as well there too. So it's nice to be able to have that element of that classic feeling to it there, but with the modern technology, so you're speaking to all minds and all people.
I would want a print of all of it. I would want a print of her hand, a drawn piece. I would want right beside that, like your 3D
model,
rendering.
yeah,
and then
exactly.
on my hand.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be very excited.
And that's
Yeah.
you can do that full journey type of the piece as well. So from the journey of your story can be shown very, very visually through those techniques.
Okay, so I come to your store and I have a mitt full of rings and other such items, but I don't have a real vision. I just have an occasion, and I'm like, okay, I've been married to my husband for 35 years now. Here's all the stuff that I've accumulated over the years. My fingers are not big enough to carry it anymore.
Here's my story pile type of thing.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Here's my story pile.
Yeah, it'll show you.
Story pile.
Better than your tax box.
Touché.
Here, I show up and I'm like, there.
Yeah,
But I don't have the vision. I'm not an expert.
And so then that's where we can, depending on how much we have and really how, it's definitely a very funneling technique that we have. We start to get an idea of like, what things have you seen in the past that you like, whatever information that I can get as much as it helps us. With that being said, I have zero idea whatsoever, and then we just start measuring stones and putting things up on the screen or on a sketch pad, and it just starts to filter from there. But of course, the more inspiration that we can get, the quicker that we can funnel it for you. But in the end, yeah, basically we would just take everything that you have there, the material, we would decide, okay, what color are you thinking, or what color, that's probably the main base, get some basic ideas like finger sizes, or whether we're doing a pendant or earrings, or how you want to wear the moment. We would find that out first, and then basically measure everything that we have there, get it up onto the screen or onto the page, and then we just start funneling it down to that final beautiful moment.
I love what you just said, how you want to wear the moment.
Exactly.
Most people don't think about that, and they just think, if it's not on my hand, I'll have my costume jewelry, but if it's not in my hand, it's not real. But it is very real.
And I find that we do kind of get a little bit people like, oh, do you guys just do rings? And absolutely not. We do pendants, earrings, brooches, any way that you can find that you can wear the moment, except for watches. Unfortunately, can't do those. But any way that you can bring those pieces and find a way to wear that moment, we can figure out how to do that.
That's gorgeous. And I mean, a lot of those brooches and things like that are making their way back. The capes are coming back. You put that back. The gloves,
the
like
tiaras,
whatever.
maybe.
They are, quinceañeras or sweet 16s or proms. There are opportunities. I want to talk a little bit about, on the sustainability side we were talking about, but also what I love about what you do specifically, because it's a hot topic, about diamonds and making sure that it's morally and ethically sourced. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, diamonds right now are split into two categories right now. You have the traditional mine diamonds, and those diamonds, we've sourced them all ethically sourced through something called the Kimberley process. So every supplier that we source those mine diamonds, they have to indicate where they're getting their diamonds from. They're not funding any local warlords, that type of thing. I couldn't get a blood diamond if I tried, type of thing. Is essentially that. If you're doing business in Canada through the proper channels, it'd be impossible to find a mine diamond that would be ethically dubious per se. That being said, you can split them into either international stones or Canadian stones as well too. So if you do feel that there's that one, Canadian stones are the only ones in the world that you can track back to the actual original mine.
That's cool.
You know which mines, and they have laser inscription. The entire process, they have to be separate from any other what's called the rough diamonds. They can never be in the same shipment. They have to be completely separate from any of the international. There's no accidental mixing type of that. So there is one level of more accountability you can do with the mine diamonds there. Of course, comes at a bit more of a premium than the international stones. But that being said, you can feel safe buying a new stone in North America at least, and it would just impossibility of it being an ethically issued diamond.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah,
That's good.
And then there's also lab created?
Yeah, and so lab created is essentially that. So you're taking that same process that the diamonds are made over millions of years, and you're doing that in a lab there in a much quicker process with some as quickly as 15 to 30 days type of that. So they're able to produce them at a higher rate. They still come with the same color, clarity characteristics, like in every single way it is a diamond. It's just the question is, do you want it artisanally made or do you want it made by Mother Earth type of that? So that's, and so I would say from the carbon footprint side, they're both, I would say, relatively equal. It takes a lot of energy to make lab created diamonds. The mine there has to be, ethically reclamation mining. There's processes and places to there. So I'm one of those persons that I don't feel like I draw a line in the sand. It's whatever tells your guys' story best. If it's made by Mother Earth or whether it's made into a lab, you can get a larger stone or a particularly higher graded color and clarity stone for a little bit less of a price. So maybe that same stone you don't want to spend 15 grand on. You'd rather spend 3 grand on that and go on a little bit longer honeymoon type of thing. So we give those options to our client, but it's really up to you to find what's the best way to tell your story and what makes sense for you.
Custom in every way.
And if we wanted to find out more, where would we find you?
That would be at marlowdesign.ca, or if you wanted to send us an email to info@marlowdesign.ca, or you can reach us by phone or text at 403-992-8452.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for that.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and
Great.
I'm so excited. I'm like, I'm gonna have my hands.
Hey!
Be happy to get you ladies adorned in jewelry.
Yes!
Absolutely.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
So thank you so much for joining us. This has been a blast as always, and we look forward to seeing you the next time round.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode of The Local Connection, reminding you that success is just a strategy away. Stay tuned for more actionable insights on The Local Connection. Until next time, thrive in your marketing endeavors.